Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, welcome to episode number 88 of Wearable Today. Episode number 88, Log On Balancing Error. Today, we've got a great show for you. We're going to be talking about Fossil. We're going to be talking about Back to the Future tech and past to the present and stuff like that. But then we're going to be talking about taking your dumb watch, the watch that you probably have for 10 years, and turning it into a smartwatch. Can it be done, and is it worth doing it? We're going to talk about all that and a whole bunch more. This is episode 88 of Wearable. Whoops. That didn't work out. This is episode 88 of Wearable Today. Brought to you by our friends over at CashFly. Go over to CACHEFLY.com for more information. And, of course, we are a proud member of the Maker community over at max.maker.com. Hey, everybody, Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine. Think Magazine, put it in geek. And you've got Geekazine for Wearable Today. And, as always, my cohorts in crime over here on the big screen, Mr. Hi, Luke Wallace.
Hey. Everybody, Luke Wallace here. You can find me Luke Luca on Twitter or plus Luke Wallace on Google Plus. And there's always Birdie. If you want to email Birdie, you can email her at birdie@wearabletoday.com, or if you want to talk to me, Luke at wearabletoday.com.
Who wants to talk to you? Jeez,
nobody.
Come on,
exactly.
So,
like, I don't
before we get started, I want to tell all of you and tell you we didn't have a show last week. We took an additional week off to discuss the direction of Wearable Today. I got back from Vegas 2 weeks ago, and just looking at the numbers and noticing we're really pushing out a show that hopefully will be you could watch on your TVs and go, hey, that's a pretty quality show to watch. We're fast approaching the fourth season. Wearable Today, once called This Week in Google Glass, has been the weekly show for wearables. Do you know of any other wearable tech show out there?
Not that's been as long-lasting and regular as we have been.
Yeah, we like to be regular. We take our Metamucil, that is for sure. We want to make sure you're getting the news you need and the information you need. So we got together, we did this little bullpen session and try and get a little bit more off of the show. So we've made some changes. The first change that you've probably just saw is I upgraded some of the graphics here. So it looks a little bit more professional. And I'd like to thank the folks over at Blue Titler. This is actually, this is like the beta of their next version of Blue Titler Pro, which I'm going to be doing some videos on and making that. But it's helping me create the graphics, create the lower thirds for not only the program in Wirecast, but I can also do it in my regular Sony Vegas or Adobe Premiere Pro and stuff like that. And I'll be doing videos on that independently. We started a Twitter handle, as you can see down here, Wearable Today, at Wearable Today, at Wearable Today. It's really simple. It's Wearable Today. You can go and subscribe there. Of course, you have facebook.com/Wearable Today. Unfortunately, it's plus.google.com/plus this week in Google Glass. I'm going to have to think about changing that, and which if I change the YouTube channel, if I change the Google Plus channel, I have to create new instead of them just changing it. I really wish that Google would get on the ball on that and let me change the name, because the show changed, but I can't do too much about it. So anyway, we're going to be populating more tech news. We're going to be doing some other cool stuff. Like, for instance, we have a feature called Twitter, and that Twitter feature, and I can actually do some tweets. It would have to be pre-show so we can approve the tweets. But as you can see, we've got right here tonight, Weartech. This is the post I put out there. Weartech is the hashtag. Weartech is the hashtag, and we'll be pulling from there for future episodes. So if you want to get on the show, we'll do a Twitter section here, which we'll talk about that and go from there. Other than that, anything? Luke, am I missing anything?
I don't think so. We're also going to change up a little bit of the format of the show. I know we talked a lot about that, but you'll notice that, I think, as we get a little further in.
Yeah. And we're working on that. We might even split up the show into more than one show a week. But we've got to figure out how we're going to do that, because I just don't want to make stuff and then cut it in half and then post it 2 points a week just doesn't make any sense to me. So, and a whole bunch more. If you have any suggestions, I'm all for getting suggestions. You can tweet me over at Geekazine or of course Jeff at wearabletoday.com, Luke at wearabletoday.com if you want to go from there. So, but basically that's it. That's this part, the pre-news news. Now, with that said, let's get into our news in what we like to call the segment, Big News, Little Arms. I like it. Birdie's attacking the cup. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's always fun. So, first up, we've got Fossil, the #1 manufacturer of fashion watches in the world, is joining the smartwatch race. Their new Q line of watches do different things for what you buy. The Q Dreamer and Q Reveler are activity trackers. I guess Reveler. While the Q Grant and Q Founder are similar to a Moto 360. And the prices are very competitive if you're thinking about picking one of these up. They start at just $125.
When the Revel yells, we got more. That's not that? Okay.
It's close. It's close.
Very close.
Sounds about right.
All right, let's move on here. You know, when we were on hiatus, when I was in Vegas for another event and you know, gambling my life away, Michael J. Fox showed off the self-lacing shoes on Jimmy Kimmel. Of course, it was Back to the Future Day, and so, but that was not the only Back to the Future Weartech that we're seeing getting made there. The University of Minnesota Wearable Technology Lab is working on things like the retracting jacket that you just saw there, and more functional items like gloves that'll actually tingle when danger is near. They called it the Spidey Sense gloves. So, you know, a firefighter or a paramedic or police could be wearing these gloves. They could see if something's coming in an area, a short area, they can react to it because they get a feeling from their senses, their Spidey senses, or whatever you want to call it. It's perfect for that, and maybe even for the zombie apocalypse when that comes out, because you know you need to know when that zombie is like right here. And of course, if you don't know that they're right here, then they're right here, and then that's pretty much it for you. So, yeah.
So, Misfit CEO Sunny Vu announced there will be 2 new wearables debuted at CES 2016, and only one is going to be an activity tracker. Misfit is also working on higher-end Weartech for fashionistas. They are working with I hate this word, Swarovski, the little crystals,
Swarovski. I'm pretty sure.
Swarovski.
Yes.
Okay, that thing that I said once, right? So that one, they're going to be working with that for a solar-powered that word shine, which is coming soon. You'd think I know how to say that with my wife loving that brand so much, and we always have to go into every one of those stores that we see in any mall or any location ever. So
maybe we should get her in the room so she can say Swarovski.
I'm not sure if she says it right either.
Oh, okay.
We kind of just both go Swarovski, and we know what we're talking about.
Oh,
so.
Okay. Well, then let's continue on with the next article here. A few weeks ago, we talked about the Tag Heuer watch, Weartech launch, and they're coming out. They came out today. I didn't really get to check it out. Did you, by chance, see the news from the Tag Heuer?
I didn't get to watch the live stream because it was kind of during the workday, but I did see some of the images of it. Yeah, I know. During my day job, what a drag.
Yeah.
But it was. I did check out their website, look through it. It looks really nice. You know, we'll have to see what the reviews are like, but
yeah. Now the 9 to 5 Mac article, and I hate it when they do because they're just doing tag bait here. They basically said it's just almost the same features as an Apple Watch. From what you saw, did you see almost the same features as an Apple Watch, or no?
It has all the Android Wear features, which are pretty comparable to the Apple Watch features. So yes, it's almost the same. Like there's some things that are I would that are probably a little better. Some things that are a little worse. It kind of, I don't know. It's kind of all about your perspective, I guess. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I would almost the same features, I guess, is technically right.
Okay. All right.
That's kind of right. So.
Well, they said that the No Word, they're working with the watch with 6 brightly colored wristbands. They want it to be a Swiss watch, but in order for it to be a Swiss watch, 50% of it has to be made in Switzerland, which makes sense, and it has to be made out of cheese. So if it was cheese and no, wait, is it chocolate? Is it chocolate or cheese it needs to be made out of? I don't know. Anyway, one of those
there are
two.
Chocolate chips.
Yeah.
Maybe the chips inside are chocolate chips.
Cheesy
like
chocolate
chips.
Cheesy chocolate chip. If it's 50% cheesy chocolate chip, then it would be called a Swiss watch. It needs to be made 50% of it needs to be made in Switzerland for it to be a Swiss watch, which would be a Tag Heuer watch. So we'll read in a little bit on that and go from there. But if you want to read more on that, we've got the link over at the 9to5mac.com.
Well, what if you like your dumb watch, even if it is, it's Swiss made, you're really happy with it. So if you like it, you can convert it to a smartwatch using Chronos. It's a small disc that adheres to the backside of your watch that will give you simple Bluetooth functionality like text messaging and phone call notifications. You can read more over on thenextweb.com. Okay. Where they talk more about the Chronos, and I think that this may be something we talk about a little bit more later.
Yeah, we're gonna go into depth in that. It's part of how we're changing things up just a little bit. Let's move on here. As I'm trying to get all the little buttons down right here. So there was a tech conference in Toronto last week, and they discussed the issues of sports teams that will get into Weartech. Mostly privacy issues that basically involved in the discussion, but only a few angles that need to be discussed. They're only one of few angles that need to be discussed when you're talking about competitive sports. Because I don't know, you're not. I know you're not a big sports fan or anything like that, but I do watch football. I watch a little bit of other sports, but football is my big one. That and professional wrestling, and who cares about what happens in professional wrestling? But I know with football, if you have something for one team, the other team has to have the exact same thing. Like, for instance, last year when Microsoft, they supplied the NFL with all these Microsoft Surfaces. They all had to be Surface 2s because that's what they could supply the whole NFL with. And if one team can't use their Surface 2s, then the other team cannot use their Surface 2s. They have to go back to old tech. So when it comes to wearable technology, things like this are starting to come in here. But what they were talking about in this article, excuse me, sorry about that. What they're talking about in this article is the collection of data and how that can affect a player. Like, for instance, let's say I bring a player into my team, into my NFL team, and I'm collecting this. I'm telling them, you got to wear this device, put it on your wrist, you can never take it off. And all that data I'm collecting. Then all of a sudden, he hurts a calf muscle or something like that. It never really heals. And I can tell through the data. That's private data that should be his data and not my data. And that's where they were going with all these privacy issues. Because I could then, if let's say you're the owner of a football team and I'm the owner of a football team, and you want that guy, and I'm getting rid of the guy, and I can say, well, you might not want that guy because he's got a bad calf muscle, and here's the data to prove it. Or you have a tech guy that hacks into my system and then find out about that. It just becomes a big mess, and we don't want that big mess. It's just a big mess. So, but anyway, that's what they discussed more, and that's what was interesting about that. You can read more at the nationalpost.com, nationalpost.com.
Cool. And finally, here's something you really got to check out. Shapeways has a 3D printed Apple Watch charging clip that allows you to keep the watch firmly attached to the dock for charging. And it's only $10, so you can clip your puck to your watch. So there are 38 millimeter and 42 millimeter versions of it.
Mm-hmm.
And this price is a lot better than the Apple version, which retails for $100 for those stands.
Yeah. And it's all 3D printed. It looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the picture right here. It just clips there. And so I think it's something that you could even, forgo the $10 and make it yourself.
You might be able to. Shapeways sometimes, I think you can only buy the printed version. You can't buy the schematic.
Yeah.
Or the STL file or whatever it is that lets you print it yourself. But yeah, that's not bad for only $10 to have something like that.
And the best part is it adheres to the back of the watch. So if if you had an earthquake or something like that, the watch could fall off the base in any other situation. This one holds it tight. So
yeah,
pretty interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's nice.
And that does it for this part. The big news, little arms. All right. So Luke, how you doing?
Doing good. It's been nice to have a little bit of time off. Really time to think about the show. Weather update. It's getting cooler in Texas, although we're getting to the point of the year where you're going to laugh at me when it's like, ooh, it's chilly here. Because, it's in the 60s. So.
It's in the 60s here inside the house.
Yeah.
But it's now 40. Actually, we're it's El Nino year. So we actually had 70s up until last week, which was nice. And we're 40s. I don't know when we're gonna have our first snowfall, but usually when an El Nino year happens here, it's usually pretty dry up, and we don't have a white Christmas basically. And then in the first week of January, it just dumps. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, because in a couple weeks, I'm going to be going to London, England, jolly old London, England, where I will be drinking tea and eating crumpets. And I'm going to have a lot of fun. So, show notes, 2 weeks. I think we got 2 more weeks, and then I'm off to jolly old London doing some videos. So, and that's a 7-hour difference. So we probably won't be doing a show unless you want to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to do a show. No?
No. 2 o'clock in the morning would be like 9 a.m. your time, like London time, right? Yeah. So that's what you mean. Like you'll get up early and then I'll just get up in the middle of the night. Yeah. Or I can stay up late. Yeah. I'm guessing this isn't going to work out real well. So. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I won't have all my production stuff here. So probably not. And of course I don't know, the whole conversion, the whole, pounds to US dollars. I don't know how that works for the video here. So.
They use metric, don't they?
Yeah.
Can you do a metric podcast? Are you set up for that?
I could, I could walk 500 kilometers and I could walk 500 more.
Yeah, but that's not as far, I don't think.
I don't know. Is it like 2 to 1 for kilometers to miles? No. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not that educated for that type of stuff. So, but what I will say is, we're going to have a show next week. We're going to have a show the week after. And then, of course, that'll take us up. That'll be Thanksgiving weekend. And then that Monday after Thanksgiving, that's when I'll be in jolly old London. And so, but then the holidays are coming. And of course, we're going to get ready for the holidays. And we'll figure out the show schedule at that point. So stick around. Of course, we're also doing the live show, as you know. I'd like to say a shout out to Kiesta1. Who said hello in the chat. So we do have somebody watching. Yay. And it's going to get a little bit different to try and figure out how we're going to do this. But I want, we're building the empire really slowly. So, but anyway, so tell me a little bit about, I know you had your Halloween costume. We didn't get to see it yet. I did. What is the Halloween costume?
So the Halloween costume that I worked on for this year was C-3PO, but I didn't do the whole C-3PO because it takes a really long time and a lot of those parts are real expensive. So it takes a while to build. So I only did the head and the feet. And then I I just wore a suit for everything else. And people really seem to like that because I kind of walked around the office and I was doing a lot of the robot, kind of motions, trying to do a lot of the C3PO stuff. Even though I wasn't really in a full C3PO, but people really liked it. It was kind of a formal C3PO or a butler C3PO. But it's something I've been working on pretty heavily since June. So it was a good 4 or 5 months of not every night, not every weekend, but a fair amount of work, 100 hours maybe to do just the head and the feet, because I was having to learn the process as I went along.
Okay. Did you you posted up some pictures, right?
Oh, I posted pictures all over the place. There's pictures on my Google Plus. I tweeted out a picture I took in the office. My YouTube channel, I'm starting now to post videos of how I did it, how I made it. So I've been recording videos since June of the whole process. So if you're interested in doing something like that here, yeah, he was just showing a picture on the video stream.
Yeah, I'm going to show you another one here.
Yeah, so while you're doing that,
more zoomed in version. That's pretty good. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So how much did it cost just to make the mask?
So the raw materials, which are just plastic, and I've got a couple of pieces here sitting. I'll show. So like this is one of the eyepieces. So like you can see, this is like what it looks like unfinished. It's just a plastic resin. I had to cut it out. Like it didn't even look like this when I got it. But you have to cut it out, sand it, paint it, do a lot of stuff. So the raw plastic head that I got was $250. Wow. And then there's a cheaper one that the guy makes that's vacuum formed that's only $85. So there are cheaper ways to do it. But the resin one has a little sharper details on kind of the eyebrows and the mouth and stuff.
Okay.
So I opted for that one. The actual paint that I used, like the primer was just cheap primer, or just kind of standard primer you get. So there's it primed with like $5 of a can of primer. The white coat put on there was just a glossy white paint. Again, another $5 or so. The chrome that's on there that you see was actually using All Clad 2 chrome. That it's about $10 for this little jar, but then you airbrush it on, and that one little jar did both feet and most of the head. So I used probably less than 2 jars of that. And then I had to do some clear coats and then get some transparent yellow All Clad paint. This will all be in the tutorials. And I did all that. And so the actual like paint cost was maybe $30 for all the materials, because I didn't use all the stuff I bought. So like if you look at just the amount of paint that I used, it was like maybe $30 in paint. And then on top of the plastic, the feet were only $35 for the vacuum formed feet. So
that's cool.
Cool. So overall it was like, it was probably $300 to do that. But the actual painting was cheap. So now I can paint a lot of things with those techniques and use that for costuming. So it's definitely an investment, but I'm going to keep working on some more parts and try to get a whole suit together. For episode 8, which is in about a year and a half. So okay. I've got about a year and a half to slowly save up to buy all the other parts and
but
get those made.
Just this picture right here with the tux or the suit is really, I memean, that is impressive. And I'm guessing that you're going to be wearing this for the 501st, right?
Yeah. So
you said by episode 8, but
by episode 8. So the idea is for like the movie premieres there, I might be able to go out and like appear at different places for that, and and other events stuff.
So how's your C3PO voice?
Not great. I'm working on that. So nothing to share at this point. Okay. I need to get a mic system and stuff because that adds a lot to make it sound more robotic, and I got to figure all that out. So that'll be some Weartech that I'll be working on myself, trying to figure out how that all works.
That's and what are you? This is a guide that came with it, or is this something you just found on the interwebs?
There's a couple of YouTube channels that I've followed that go into a lot of the details, but they kind of mention things, but they don't show necessarily all the steps. So I'm trying to make up some videos that show a little bit more detail on that. But yeah, a lot of YouTube and some other tutorials, a lot of reading, found a lot of forums. The Replica Prop forum is always good for this kind of stuff. I read through a ton of posts there of people trying to do it. Didn't find anything real reliable, so a lot of it was kind of figuring it out on my own.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty cool.
It was a lot of work. It was a ton of work, a lot of research. I have a bunch of spoons that I was practicing on, trying to let me try this first and then this, and let me see if this will work. And so I have all these plastic spoons and with writing of what did I do to this spoon to get this finish, so that I have notes basically on, okay, how did I do that? What combination of paints was that? And so yeah, a lot of work, but I think it paid off.
That's cool. And I was going to show you my costume, which was just basically, I thought I had this on Facebook. I don't see it. What the heck? It was just basically a Target $30 Chewbacca. It was the Chewbacca outfit from a few weeks ago. And we wore it, and Jennifer went as sexy Han Solo. So, ooh. And that's why I wanted to show you the picture. Let's see if I can find it really quick. I also got to pose with some stormtroopers in Vegas, which was really sweet.
Were you wearing the Wookiee?
No, I didn't have the Wookiee stuff with me. So, God, I want to find it. I should find these things before. Yeah, there's the other. Oh, it was an Instagram photo, wasn't it? All right. Well, I'm not. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Jennifer's going to hate me for showing it, but that's okay. So she was sexy Han Solo. I'll get the cursor off her. Anyway, see, she was sexy Han Solo, and I was Chewbacca, and of course played at a small bar up north, and had a lot of fun. So
were you drumming in that?
Yes, I was drumming in that. It wasn't too bad either. I mean, if it was in the middle of summer,
that was really hot.
No, I wasn't wearing any pants. So anyway, what? No, actually, I was wearing. I actually told everybody I was. I actually took off all my clothes for this outfit. So.
Did people believe you? Did people have that shock of?
I don't know. They could have been believing me. I don't know. So, anyway, the other thing I wanted to show you really quick is my new acquisition. Our friends over at TEC and Scotty Vest had basically gotten me a Scotty Vest. And
nice.
That picture right there. If you don't know what a Scotty Vest is, it's clothing that lets you run tech through it. So, and the cool thing about this, let's see if I can go in the right direction here. Yeah, the cool thing about it is it gave me a whole bunch of swag. There's some keys. Of course, they go to nothing, but the whole idea is it comes with a clip thing that comes straight from the pocket. So it retracts right in there. I can actually put in a bottle of water into the vest. There's a little elastic area where I can set it into. And of course the arms come off, so I took the arms off. That was Kodak monitor that I've also got this week. And there was a couple other things. Oh yeah, came with pencil, they gave me the headphones. He already had it all strung inside the jacket. So I had little bits of swag. There was a pair of sunglasses too.
Wow.
There they are. A pair of sunglasses that came with it. So I got a little bit of swag everywhere. It was really, really sweet. And had a lot of fun with it. So, but that was my Weartech for the week. And of course, I'm not wearing it right now. I'll probably wear it in a future episode. But I'd like to thank the folks over at Scotty Vest for getting me that. Of course, a review will be forthcoming on that and go from there. So, all right. Cool. Yeah, very, very cool. All right. Well, one of the features that we're going to start adding for you guys is a Twitter feature. And as you can see down here, we have a Twitter. Tonight, Wearable, and of course, the only tweet I've approved is mine because we don't know what's going to happen. But Weartech is going to be the hashtag. If you want to comment on anything, we'll try and get you to tweet Wearable Today. Wearable Today is the new Twitter handle, and Weartech is the hashtag that we're going to be using. And of course, if you, I'll post the day before saying, hey, if you wanna get on live tweet. All you have to do is Weartech and go from there. So nothing good to show at this point. We will be doing that in future episodes and go from there. But I want to...
Are we going to read mean tweets if people tweet mean things?
Do you want to do mean tweets?
Maybe. I guess it depends on what they say, but
there are no mean tech tweets, mean Weartech tweets. I don't think so.
No. Yeah.
So I don't know. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see how people do it and go from there. So
tweet anything you want.
Let's pay some bills here. First of all, I want to talk about our friends over at CashFly, and they're helping us with the bandwidth, the non-RSS or the non-YouTube bandwidth, the RSS bandwidth. So you can get it in iTunes. You can get the audio and the video version through CashFly. They have a 14-day free trial. You get 1 terabyte for free, and of course, you can go through the pricing plans. If you're a podcaster, and you're doing audio podcasts, this is perfect. I mean, you end up your podcast being 20, 30 megabytes. You'll be able to store that in for years on CashFly's CDN server. It's one of the fastest out there. And I don't know if I can say that officially or not, but it is pretty fast. When we switched from the old CDN to CashFly, I had a lot of people telling me how quick the response of my videos has been. It's been pretty amazing, and I'm really happy on that. But bandwidth by CashFly, go over to cashfly.com. Tell them that Geekazine sent you, and go from there. And of course, we have our deals over on Weartech over at wearabletoday.com/deals. Wearabletoday.com/deals. Like, for instance, right now, the Motorola Motor 360, $108.45. Now, these are used, refurbished, whatever, and it's not bad. So if you're looking for a low-priced Weartech item, you can check it out. Of course, they also have books and other cool stuff. Everything from Fitbits to Moto 360s. No Apple Watches, but Dubs acoustic filters. I have a pair of those. Those are awesome. The Samsung Gear S2, the Muse brain sensing headband. If you want to get one of those, you can get those at a good discount over at wearabletoday.com/deals. And then, of course, if you want to leave a tip for the show, simply paypal.me/Jeff Powers. Paypal.me/Jeff Powers. Or you can do Google Wallet at geekazine@gmail.com and go from there. Also want to say thanks to our friends over at Maker Max. They are helping bring the show to life and bringing it to all those cool channels that I can't get on, including the Maker channels. So, and I think that one of the channels is the Sling channel, Sling app on your Roku or Apple TV and stuff like that. You can download that and be a part of Sling, which is over the air, they stream AMC, they stream USA, TNT, TBS, ESPN, so you can cut your cable and still get those channels that you really want. And that's over at max.maker.com. If you are a content creator, tell them that Geekazine sent you. I'll have the link in the show notes, so you can get there and go from there. So, all right, with all that said, let's move on from there. Let's go to our segment we call Fund Me. Fund Me! Or is it me? Or is it me? Is it me or you? Or you or me?
Both.
You're not even talking.
It's both of us. It's me. It's fun. It's fun me, but the me is from the person's perspective that we're showing, not our perspective. We're not asking you to fund us. We don't.
Yeah.
We're not asking for money here, so.
Okay. Well,
not right at that point. Earlier,
yeah,
yes,
we are asking for money. Please,
sure,
send us money.
But not the fund me is not about funding us, like me. It's about funding these people. They're saying fund me.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
Yeah, it's very confusing. Let's move on. Over on Fund Me, let's talk about this. With any computer, you can get a version with modular adjustments. Weartech is now entering into the modular phase itself with a thing called Blocks, the world's first modular smartwatch. Now, the watch itself isn't modular. The strap is what makes the modular happen. And sorry about that. You were yawning as I flipped.
Yeah, no, she had to show me on.
Well, you know, what can you do? Anyway, so the strap adds functionality to the watch, like GPS trackers, heart rate modules, NFC payment, and even extra batteries for that. And we've got that video going here. So you basically buy the watch and you get 4 links, or a few links with it, and you keep purchasing links as new links come in. So the Kickstarter, for $195, you'll get the watch itself, or for $250, you'll get 4 links to the watch. And I think it's pretty ingenious. I'm not sure how the links work and how they'll, you know, if they attach and detach really easily or not, but it's now taking the watch into a new realm and saying, okay, everything, all the electronics before have been inside the watch. Now we can take it through the band and make your whole watch a real smartwatch. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so too. It reminds me of Project Aura that has been like that Google's been working on, this idea of a modular smartphone. It looks very similar in its idea, at least. They show some pictures lower down on the Kickstarter page of these little chips, these little boards like embedded in each link of the watch, of the band. And so I have a feeling that the idea is each segment of the band follows these standards, and so it can pass along information to kind of the brain segment, the brain link in the chain. Mm-hmm. And that's a really smart idea, because it seems like this helps solve that same problem that they're looking at solving for smartphones, where either certain people want very specific functionality, or you want to be able to change the functionality, throughout the day or from day to day, of like, okay, I'm going to go for a run. So now I want the GPS tracking and a lot of extra batteries so that it can, so that I can go for a long run and it won't die, even though it's, tracking me the whole time.
Exactly. And the other thing is, and this is for those of you who have more high tech jobs. I was in a couple of those jobs where I worked for the Wisconsin Department of Corrections. I've been to every prison in the state of Wisconsin. When you go into a prison, it's not like you can take everything with you. Phones at the time, and this was a few years ago, phones definitely had to stay out in the car. You don't even think about bringing them in unless you absolutely had to. And then there'd always be somebody there, so you wouldn't hand the phone off to a prisoner. But there are other places, financial institutions and government institutions and stuff like that, that you can't bring certain people in. The President of the United States, a perfect example. I mean, he's got to be using the BlackBerry, and I think, did he just get on the iPhone a year or two ago?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Maybe it sounds familiar.
Yeah, the whole point is he had to be on BlackBerry because of the security that the BlackBerry offered. The whole point is that, with a watch like that, you can now add and remove stuff so you don't have that functionality. So somebody doesn't hack into your watch, so they don't know where you are. But then when you get home, you want to, take a run or something like that, you can change bands. And of course, you can also buy 2 or 3 of the same one. So if, you don't want to get the sweaty GPS module when you're in the middle of work, because, sometimes those watches really start to smell after a while, and you don't want the running band as opposed to the regular band. But and the other cool thing about this is it is open source, so you could see a lot of Android watches on there, and there is also possibility that Apple could look into this and license this technology for the band and go from there.
Yeah, really neat idea. I wish them all the best. It'll be interesting to see. Like, they've got some really nice ideas for what the band, what the modules could do. And what's great is that over time, if they come up with some new idea, you're not having to buy a whole new watch, just to get the new piece of functionality. You can just buy the new little link and then put it on your watch and swap it out with something else. And, that's a really nice aspect of it, is the upgradability, which has kind of gotten lost from all of our electronics in the past, decade. It seems like now it's like, you pretty much buy it and you're stuck with it and you can't upgrade it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So interesting stuff. If you want to read more on that, we've got, well, of course, it's the Kickstarter. We got the link in the show notes and we can go from there. All right, let's move on from there to there. We're going to go into our next segment called On the Medical Front. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. So, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. And I'm joking on that right now, but that might have actually been the first widely known medical wearable. Yeah, I know, Bertie. It's pretty cool. As we move to more sensor-centric wear tech, we could find opportunities of quality of life for those in their 70s and up, so they don't have to be put into communities. We can check the sensors and know if their heart's not doing too well, if they need to be monitored a little bit more or a little bit less in one area or another area, but be more independent in the grand scheme of things. And so there's many different ways in this article over on McKnight. They're talking about many different ways. What was that?
Hello?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Did Bertie just walk down your microphone or something?
Yes, she started picking at it, so sorry about that.
All right. So, where were we? Oh, yeah. From 3D printers that can recreate human tissue and organs to wearables that could, warn us of strokes, of seizures, of heart attacks, and other life events for elderly people, so they can be a little bit more independent on things. And I think this is really great. It's a very general article over on McKnight's, but it really shows where Weartech can go in the next 20 years. So Luke, you don't have to be in the old folks' home in 10 years when you're ready to retire. And you don't need a rocking chair or anything like that. You could actually stay at home.
Yeah, I know you're joking there, but
am I?
Yeah, it is.
Am I? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
It's yeah, I mean, it's a huge segment of the population that is going to be a lot more open to it, I think, especially in the next 10 years. You've got all these aging baby boomers that are not as scared of technology as their parents were, and so they're going to be more interested in what kind of technology can I have that will actually help me in my daily life. And so yeah, huge. It's gonna be a huge industry. We're already seeing some of that. We've talked about that kind of stuff before. So yeah, it's gonna be big.
And actually, there is some of it that does affect me. There is one thing, and of course, a few weeks ago, I have been diagnosed as diabetic, so type 2. So I'm not taking insulin. I'm taking the pills, metformin, whatever it is. The whole point is that there are a lot of devices that are working hard. And my friend Michael Yim over at Breathometer, I did an interview with him a couple of years ago. He was on Shark Tank. He got all 5 sharks in on it. They're making one, the same type of breathometer for people with high blood sugar. So instead of poking your finger and taking your blood sugar that way, you basically breathe into this little device, which then your iPhone or your Android device reads what it says and then keeps track and lets you know what your sugar levels are at. And that's very, very cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's very amazing. I saw a little bit of it not from Breathometer, but from some other people that are working on it. And I think Charles Michael Yim is in the forefront on that. But we'll see some good competition when it comes out, and we'll see who comes first to market for that, if it hasn't already happened.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
So anyway, anything you wanted to add to this article, or we're going to move on?
No, I think it's good. It's it makes you think, and you'll see this kind of trend, I think, as time goes on.
All right. Well, Okay, where are we? Let's get into our main focus. And our main focus is we're going to take one of the articles that we just talked about. And this week we're going to talk a little bit about Chronos, this disc that you can add to your dumb watch to make it a smartwatch. Now, every Christmas I get a watch, whether from my dad, whether from somebody else. And it's usually, it's nothing to really talk about. It's just, some Walgreens special or, something that was a couple bucks, and then it sits and then it dies and then I throw it away. And then next year I get another watch. And sometimes it's cool. Sometimes, I pulled out my GoBot watch from a few years ago, and that was pretty cool. But sometimes you get a watch that's not a smartwatch, and we all want smartwatches now, apparently. So Chronos makes this little dial this little disc that attaches to the back of any other watch to give you the basic functionality. Now, it's cheap. It's useful. It's not gonna let you play Angry Birds on your watch by any means, but it'll give you some functionality. As tech people, do you think that it's something that we're just kind of going, no, this isn't something that we're gonna need, but there'll be an actual need for it?
I think it's a really interesting approach on it because it lets every watch become a smartwatch, so that you don't have to have a, let's say, goofy looking watch. You can actually have the nice timepiece that you've got. Maybe you're concerned about, looking a certain way, or maybe you're just like, I don't know if I'm ready for a smartwatch, or I just want something a little more subtle. What's really interesting about it is there's no blinking lights on it. It's all done with vibrations and then, tap to interface with it. And then you can look at your phone to get all of the data as far as, your steps and all of that stuff. It looks like it all connects to an app. So actually, you still get all the data.
I thought it did have a blinking light.
Does it have a light on it?
Yeah,
somewhere?
it does have at least from the article, they're showing like this blue light emanating from the back.
That's true. So it has some sort of little indicator light. Okay.
Yeah.
So it has that, but you can customize like how much it
if you wanted to,
like what it notifies you about and how it notifies you.
Yeah.
So okay, I guess haptic vibration and LED notifications.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't look like it does from the picture, but
which I'm assuming. But anyway, yeah, you could.
It's still more subtle than a whole screen on your watch.
Yeah.
So really neat, and yeah, definitely pretty subtle. So it might be something that people that they're like, well, I have a really nice watch and I'd like to have a smartwatch. I don't have any, like, I would say really nice watches, but I do have a couple of nice watches that I've had for years, and I do like to wear them. But I wear a smartwatch. Here's my Moto 360, right? Mm-hmm. That I wear almost all the time, and I get used to wearing that all day at work. And so I get all of my work emails popping up on there and calendar notifications popping up on there, and that's really convenient. And so if I ever want to wear one of these other watches that I've got, I put it on, and then it's kind of like, oh, I'm missing out. I got a text message, or I think I may have gotten a text message because my phone vibrated, but I'm not sure what it was. Like it could be anything because it's just my phone vibrating.
Yeah.
So with this, you could customize it and say, well, I want it to blink that little blue light if it's a text message, or I want it to vibrate if it's a phone call coming in, or maybe that's not necessary, but whatever it is, you can customize it. And so even if I had something like that, it could be boop, boop, I've got a text message, even though this is a fancy watch that I've had for a while, or a non-smart watch. Let me go check my phone. So I could see that being pretty useful. And if the price sticks at $100, that's actually a pretty cheap way relatively to convert a dumb watch into something, more useful.
Agreed. Two things that go ahead. If it is what?
I was gonna say, if it was like $1,000, people would say, I'll just buy a smartwatch and I can just wear a smartwatch when I want to and wear another, wear my regular watch. But it's like $100. It's like, if you've got a let's say a $1,500 Tag Heuer, like you might say, I already have a $1,500 watch. I'm not going to buy another one, but I will buy a $100 little,
Remember when we were wearing Google Glass on a daily basis?
Yeah. I don't wear it every day, but I wore it this weekend a little. So,
2 issues I have with this right now. The first one is, how does it adhere to the watch? Is it just some sort of sticky back-to-back tape or whatnot, or Velcro or something like that? Because then it then asks the next question: can I transfer it from watch to watch? Because some of us, especially if you've really got a lot of money, you got these thousands of dollars watches, and you want to show off your bling watch. And you have different watches for suits. Would you have to end up buying a disc for every single one? The second thing I had, the other question I have is how how thick was it again? Do you remember, Luke?
It says 3 millimeters. I went over to 3 millimeters.
Yeah. 3 millimeters thin and 33 millimeters in diameter. Now, if you've got your regular watch on, adding that little extra to the back, is that going to... Are you going to feel that, or is it going to feel awkward? Is it going to push on your hand or anything like that? Those little things. I suppose there's going to be some getting used to how that is set up. But I guess the biggest thing is there a need for it? And right now, you said it's $100 for that, but even stuff like this, where it's a little bit more functional. This looks like a piece of plastic, and if I'm wearing a whatever suit, a Versace suit, or I don't even know the names. If I'm wearing some multi-$1,000 tuxedo, would I want to have under $100 wearable? Would I want to have an Apple Watch? Would I want to have an high-end watch? Would I want to have my Tag Heuer Swiss watch, or would I want to have my really blinged out watch with one of these Chronoses on the back? So it's just a question of how the market's going to react to it. In all reality, if you didn't buy Weartech, Luke, would you buy one of these?
Good question. Probably not, because I wouldn't see the benefit to it. So I think knowing, like, once you've tried it and once you've seen it, and it may be one of those kind of social things, right? Like someone else that has to have it, and that you have to see how it's useful to them. And then you're like, oh, now I understand why this is useful. So for me, somebody who's seen that usefulness, it's like, it is kind of tempting. But for somebody who hasn't gotten a smartwatch, has no interest in a smartwatch, not even a expensive Swiss, possibly Swiss smartwatch, like, maybe it's not going to be real successful, just because that market isn't interested anyway.
Yeah, that's true. So, well, we'll see what happens. I mean, and they might find that niche, and they might, it might be, it might not be or anything like that. It might be overseas. People that don't have $100 to spend on a watch, they end up getting any watch that they can get, and they can get something like this for that. Maybe, I don't know. It's a hard sell, and I think if I was a VC or something like that, I'd have a hard time figuring out a return on investment for this device, and go from there. Now, if they worked with that watch band, was it the blocks, and they added that to that might be something that could really, really go from there. So, something to think about. And of course, that's open. That's going to be licensable, so you can they can talk together. Maybe Blocks and Chronos talk together. If you're watching the show, exchange numbers and see where it goes from there. So
it is interesting how they're both kind of taking the problem and coming at it from two different directions. One is saying, well, let's replace the band with technology, and the other saying, let's just stick it on the back of the existing stuff and just kind of put it there. Yeah, but so you don't even have to change the band.
No, the one is actually, there's still a watch face for Blocks. There's still the screen face for Blocks that, if you want to add the GPS, you add it in the band as opposed to the watch. Whereas this one is like, okay, your watch is just going to be that same watch that you have, that you have to turn the dial to change the time or to wind up or whatever. We're just adding a little bit of technology to it. And if that can work with that band, you replace the band with the blocks, and the blocks control on that back end, maybe something there. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if they could work together. That's for sure.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right. Well, that does it for this episode of Wearable Today. Luke, buddy, where they can find you, how they can find you, and what they can find you wearing.
So you can find me here every Monday night when we do a show. We don't do a show quite every Monday night, but you can find me here. You can also find me at my Twitter, which is down below. If he makes it pop up, it's at Luke Luca.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, okay. Well, it would be there. But you can find me on Google Plus at google.com/plus Luke Wallace. I have lots of pictures over there if you want to see me wearing my suit. So look for that guy. And if you see that guy, that's probably me.
All right. And of course, you can find me over at Geekazine, Think Magazine, Put in a Geek. You've got Geekazine. And of course, wearabletoday.com. Like I said, we're going to have another show next Monday night. I don't see any problems. I will be heading to London in 3 weeks after the Thanksgiving melee. And Black Friday shopping, and you know, it's time to get some Black Friday shopping. So remember that link over at wearabletoday.com. Whoops, where is it? There it is. wearabletoday.com/deals over at deals at Weartech. /deals. And of course, please tweet us over at Geekazine, over at Luke Luca, over at Wearable Today, and let us know what you think of the show, what you'd change on the show, and how we can change things up to make it better so we can get a better show for you. So that does it for this episode. Thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for listening on iTunes or over on Stitcher. And we will be back next week with another Wearable Today. You guys geek out and take care.